Welcome back to Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcoming a dear friend of mine, first time on the program. I am so excited to have her here. She is the executive director of the Hines Center. Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle Fanfair. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning. Happy Sunday.
How are you?
I'm so honored and privileged to join this show. I was telling you off the air that this show will be studied by generations to come. They will mine this show for lessons from the past to equip them for the future. And so I am completely grateful and honored to be here. And I'm so grateful for your work in the city.
Wow.
Your advocacy and your activism is not lost on me. You do it in so many ways and you're sneaky, but I have found you out. You are a living, advocate and activist, and I appreciate you.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. My heart is tingling because that's what I use this platform for. Mm-hmm. I mean, purposely for us. Mm-hmm. For us. I mean, I don't, and I feel as if I'm not doing enough, even though, I use this platform for that reason. I still feel like there's more that I can do for us. But Danielle, thank you so much for that.
Hey.
Wow.
I call it how I see it.
Wow. I'm
Can
speechless.
I act up on this show? Let me just get that out the way.
Yeah, you can act up. You can get
good.
smacked up. Come on. So listen here. We're talking mental health in the Black community, which has been the subject of topic for a few years now. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that we, as Black people in America, are finally waking up and realizing, hey, something is going on with me. Mm-hmm. Something definitely is wrong, and prayer isn't enough, even though it works. But the Lord also put intelligent minds on here to help me work through whatever it is that I'm going through. A lot of people are going through mild depression and they don't even know it. I myself went through that about 3 summers ago. I just wasn't myself, not as motivated as I once was, just staying in the house, binge watching, shows and smoking weed. And I was just like, what is my deal? Where is the go-getter in me? Mm-hmm. And then once I finally got out of that, and what helped is that I changed my diet. Mm-hmm. That was one thing. Clearly, I wasn't getting the right minerals and things that I needed. But once I got out of that, and I was talking to someone in the mental health field, she was like, "Oh, you were going through a mild bout of depression." Mm-hmm. And I said,
and we don't understand when we're self-medicating with different habits, experiences, and different sensations. We don't understand that we're actually self-medicating those mild bouts of depression or anxiety, generalized anxiety, or several things that we just don't even register.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So tell us about the Hines Center and the work that you all do.
All right. So the quick and easy way to describe what we do at the Hines Center is burnout and stress is so normal and so consequential that the medical industry has now declared it a diagnosis. So just like diabetes, just like high blood pressure, all of those conditions add to that burnout and stress as a condition that you need to be treated medically for. Okay. And so everybody says kind of like, oh, we got to do better. We got to take care of ourselves. As soon as we lose somebody too soon, right? We're all aware of our mortality, but it kind of stops there. Oh, yeah, we got to do better, But the Hines Center is that place to apply what it means to feel better. Mm-hmm. We offer experiences that provide mental clarity and peace of mind through mindfulness courses, open meditation sits. We have a meditation lounge that's open 6 days a week. We have several opportunities for mental clarity in that way. We also have a roster of classes around yoga, Tai Chi, and dance, because dance is a stress reliever and a meditation, even if you don't do it well, as long as you do it. Mm-hmm. Then we offer things like workshops and lectures. We just finished up a 8-week concert series called Song and Story, where we hear the stories of local musicians who are just as good as anybody you see on TV. And I weave in micro meditations and breathing work throughout the concert. So before you even see anybody perform a song, the first thing we do is meditate so that people can detach from what they just went through and get in the room mentally, emotionally, and physically, and then choose to be nourished by the night. And so mentally, emotionally, and physically, there are ways for you to release the negative, increase the positive, and experience an immediate shift in how you're feeling. When we decide to increase those positive emotions, when we breathe deeply, when we have positive conversations and experiences, we automatically signal to our bodies to rest and digest. And we're in the better position for learning, decision making, and we create value interior, and then we create value exteriorly. And so what that means is we have more valuable contributions to the world when we take care of ourselves internally. And the Hines Center has a bunch of different opportunities for you to do that. And you mentioned prayer earlier. The real legal name of the Hines Center is the Hines Center for Spirituality and Prayer. What I know is that the Bible says to pray without ceasing, and we've distorted that message to pray and stop. What we allow you to do is continue a consistent dialogue with yourself and whoever you witness as your divine source throughout every single moment of your day, and bring you into a fullness of your power, your value, and your wellness.
Wow. That is a lot. I'm speechless. There's so many places I want to go. Let me start with just meditation. Okay. Because people they hear that like, oh, you should meditate. What is meditation? A, and B, how do you meditate? I think a lot of times people think, okay, so I'm sitting in a quiet space and my legs are crossed Indian style with my elbows on the knees and, my fingers pointed and I'm, sitting up straight, breathing deeply. Yeah. Is that one?
That is the typical vision of meditation. Right. And the reason why a lot of people shy away from meditation is because there's this assumption that you have to clear your mind and achieve this empty brain. And you can't do that. If you tell yourself not to think about anything, your monkey mind,
everything's going to be
deluge of thoughts is going to your brain will betray you every time. So that people feel like failures when they try to meditate because they can't clear their thoughts and get it down to zero. And if you're not a yogi or a meditation guru who can levitate and meditate for 20 minutes to an hour every day, then you automatically assume that meditation is not for you. And the other thing is, in our typical community that really has its roots in the church, anything that is not sanctioned by the church typically gets demonized as pagan, right? Right. When we have clear directives in the scripture to meditate on the word day or night, what does that mean? The same thing as meditation in the Eastern sense. What that means is to allow your brain, your body, and your breath to come into one and notice the thoughts that come. And while you're inhaling and exhaling, begin to detach yourself from your thoughts. Right? And so meditation is not a wrestling and a wrangling of the monkey mind. Meditation is simply a way to access your soul and your essence as something that is uniquely valuable, separate, and other than the thoughts that run in your brain every day. And so when you get into a meditative posture and you begin to breathe in, do it right now. Breathe in deeply through your nose. Now breathe in, breathe out through your nose. Breathe in deeply through your nose. Breathe in out through your nose. Now this time, breathe in through your nose. Now breathe out like you're trying to fog up a mirror that someone has placed under your nose. Now think of a sacred word, image, or symbol that you need more of. Some virtue that you want more of in your life. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. And every time your mind wanders, bring it back to that sacred word, symbol, or image. Bring it back to that word, symbol, or image. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. Now bring it back to that sacred word, symbol, or image. One more time. In through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. Breathe in deeply through your nose. Bring your mind back to that word and then sigh it out real big. Congratulations, you just meditated. And what you did was you harnessed the power of your focus and you allowed the power of your breath to bring you into a calmer, lighter place. And every time you focused on that sacred word, your energy expanded that word in your life, thereby giving yourself more of what you needed just by focusing your energy and your attention on it. That's meditation.
Wow. You listen to Access Houston. We're talking to Danielle Fanfair, Executive Director of the Hines Center. Wow. And it works.
Do you feel a little bit better than when we first started? Me
yes,
too.
Indeed.
That's why I always sneak it in, because I be needing it.
Is very, very important.
So let me tell you what happens when we breathe deeply. Hold on one second. I'm about to get scientific.
Come on.
There is a nerve that sits on either side of our throats, just beneath our jawline, called the vagus nerve, vagus. Vagus is the Latin that is the root word for vagabond, which means wanderer. That nerve is called the wandering nerve because it literally goes right beneath your jawline through your spine down to every system that you have. From your digestive system, your endocrine system, even down to your reproductive system.
So that's why my body was tingling when I was taking a deep breath. And when I exhaled, it was like in my head, like everything in me just was tingling.
So those exhalations actually put pressure on that nerve in a steady and deep way. And when you squeeze that nerve with those exhalations, you are sending impulses through every system you have to rest and digest. You're telling your body with your breath that it's okay. And creating space to be more cognitively aware, listen, scan the environment and learn, and then make more solid decisions. That is the immediate benefit and power of choosing to meditate.
I'm left speechless because this is something that really needs to be studied and done.
But people don't want you to know this, though, because if they can get you frenzied and if they can get you to buy into the fear that their products are selling, if they can get you to buy into the paranoia, the danger of not being normal, if they can prevent you from taking that breath and being really able to peep game, then your dollars, your energy, and your time will go towards what benefits and makes other people powerful and not what makes you powerful.
Sound like one of the songs on J. Cole's KOD album. And he focuses on not taking that pharmaceutical drug to, escape or get away.
To zone out.
He focuses on meditation, and this is so important. But to your point, they don't want us to know about that.
None of the institutions that are currently making decisions that impact our culture and our world benefit from us recognizing and knowing our power and taking it back. And through opportunities like mindfulness, which brings you into a presence and a curiosity even when you're in pain, through practices like meditation, which have immediate and long-term benefits on your mental health as well as your physical health, through things like yoga, through things like building positive community, we get a chance to clear the confusion, and we get a chance to develop our own perspective and take a moment to just enjoy ourselves. And then we learn how we've been too generous. We learn how we can be more generous. We learn how we have what we need. We learn how much we want, and we develop more strategic ways to get that, right? We learn what our relationship is to substances like alcohol or food, or even some of the herbs and supplements, legal and illegal, that we use. We start to understand how we may be abusing those substances. And ultimately, not just us, but then the generational cycles and curses that we end begin to benefit not only us, but our children and our friends begin to notice a shift, and they begin to experiment with our wellness practices. And then we integrate these things into our lives. And of course, the advent of social media, a message can travel around the world in literally a minute span.
Yep.
And so we really can truly live out our purpose if we give ourselves space to develop wellness practices that bring us into alignment into who we are and how powerful we are.
Yeah. You're listening to Access Houston. Danielle Fanfair is in the building, the executive director of the Hines Center. So one of the services, everything that you mentioned earlier that the Hines Center offers, you mentioned yoga, which is amazing. This year, I did my very first yoga class.
Good.
With a young lady named Yogi Jazz. Shout out to Yogi Jazz.
Oh, Yogi Jazz. Yogi Jazz, if you're listening, your Instagram feed is flawless.
Yeah, I love her. She's amazing. And I went to one of her classes, my very first time. And Danielle, when I tell you, I felt so much lighter after that session. My first time, I felt light as a feather, like so much had been lifted
from one class.
From one class, my very first.
And that's because there's 9 sequences in a yoga class that's designed to take you from chakra to chakra and give you a sense of release through all the major energy centers in your body.
So one of the things that I was trying to do, and even though it was my first time, but I told her, I was like, I felt it. I felt a little bit of it, but, she was like, but the more you do it, the more you will feel it. It's when it was toward the end, and we were all laying down, and she, had us close our eyes, and she had, what do you call
a Tibetan singing bowl?
There you go, the singing bowl. And she just had us, breathing as with the sound of the singing bowl. She was giving us the instructions of what to do. And she was saying, and if you, achieve this correctly, you can kind of feel your spirit kind of levitate out of your body in a sense. And I promise you, for, I don't know, and maybe it was 1 second to, me focusing, just paying attention and following the directions as much as I could in that state. I felt what she was talking about. It was, it was very quick, but I was amazed. And I said, I want to get to that level. I want to get to, there's a meme that goes around on social media that talks about, and you probably know it more than I do, that when we get into that spiritual space and when we meditate, that we tap into something in our brain that makes us kind of like supernatural. I can't remember the name. I got the meme in my head, or the diagram of the monk or whoever he is sitting there, and how it has this thing coming out, his brain, just energy is all around him.
I'm with you.
I want to experience that.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is like if you go to like a black church, like a real black church, we've been practicing yoga. When sister get the spirit, she does a back bend, right?
Yes.
And when when we are feeling low, we go down in the child's pose at the altar, right? Like,
wow,
we already practice yoga as a people. Why not create space for us to do what's already intuitively happening with our bodies? Our bodies are bending and stretching to give us that release. But in the black community, unless pastor is leading a yoga practice, on the carpet of the church, we tend to dismiss the benefits of it. When the other thing that is so funny, one of my mindfulness teachers, her name is Mickey Fine, she was like, what do you think cigarettes are? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. And she had us do that a couple of times. And then she said, now pretend you have a cigarette. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. She says, smoking a cigarette is diaphragmatic breathing. She was like, it's deep breathing just with the cigarette as an apparatus. She was like, we're already naturally doing the things that our bodies need. We're just adding extras to it. And so, that spiritual transcendence that you're discussing, Like, that is a part of what makes us fully human and fully divine at the same time. And it's nothing to be afraid of, and it's nothing to think is a one-time thing. We have access to that all the time.
Yeah.
And practicing things like yoga bring us into a consciousness and a unity with that part of ourselves that we off the mat can hold on to when it's time to go into that meeting and share what we know, when it's time to go make our product or our artwork, when it's time to go into that conversation about our promotion and know our value and name a price that comes close to our value, because our value is unquantifiable, right? But when it comes time to curating sustainable lives, we can access that divine and allow it to inform how we curate our lives.
Danielle with a word this Sunday morning.
I stopped by to tell you today.
Come on now, come through. Danielle Fanfair of the Hines Center. So for those who may have just been joining us, talk about other services that you all offer at the Hines Center.
So in addition to the weekly experiences that you can access by going to our website, www.hinescenter.org, there are so many workshops. Last week on Thursday, we had a positive self-talk workshop led by the Raven Alexis in partnership with the Life Design Academy, which is an academy that provides practicums that combine sacred practices with your vocation and your performance in life, which is a beautiful alignment for the Hines Center. Coming up in October, a psychologist by the name of Dr. Ann Friedman and her team of psychologists are bringing beginning mindfulness to the Hines Center, which is a 6-week course on how we can access mindfulness to become more present to how much joy, how much pleasure, and how much peace we can access just by becoming more mindful of our day. How much stress is a choice, and how and we can decide how much power we want to give certain things, right? Coming up, we're starting a new series of workshops that will include a yoga practice to accompany the mental and emotional work that you've done. So for instance, a Reiki energy healer will come and do a 1-hour workshop, and then you'll get a 15-minute break and then a 45-minute yoga class to accompany the work that you've done mentally and emotionally to understand and practice the benefits of Reiki energy healing. There'll be an accompanying yoga practice to come behind that so that you can actually not just physically and not just intellectually understand what happened, but physically move the energy that you need out of your body and then welcome the energy that you need into your body. And so the Hines Center between now and the end of the year will be, and you can go to our website, www.hinescenter.org, and get a sense of some of the things that we've offered and some of the things that we're going to continue to offer. We're going to have a manifestation workshop where a psychotherapist who's also an abundance coach breaks down the psychology of curating the kind of life that you want and how things don't just float to you magically, but there are some specific ways that you can understand how to design the life you want. You know, I am a certified Enneagram practitioner, and the Enneagram is a tool that we use to understand 9 paths of human nature, 9 paths of human development, 9 ways that we kind of develop a personality that we use as armor to kind of navigate the stresses of the day. And so I'll be teaching ways to wake up to understanding who you are and noticing some of the patterns that we automatically engage that we've been using since childhood that we may not need anymore. And so that'll be a 6-week journey that's also starting in October.
Oh, well, listen, it sounds like you've got some things coming up. And so I'm going to put you on the spot and say that you will come back on the program.
Oh, God, I would love to
talk about these events coming up in October at the Hines Center. Yes.
Oh, man. That would be such a privilege.
Okay. Log on to thehinescenter.org for all of the information. We could legit talk the whole hour.
The whole hour.
We could really do the whole hour.
There's so much more.
Oh, my gosh. But we've already taken up this entire segment of Access Houston. Danielle Fanfair, the Executive Director of the Hines Center. Visit thehinescenter.org for all of the information. And what's your IG? Shout out your
So you can
social.
you can check me out at Danielle_Fanfair, and the Hines Center is on IG as well. Just go look at Hines Center. We're also on Facebook as well as the Hines Center for Spirituality and Prayer. And I just want to say thank you again, KG. You really are a gift to our city. You redefine what it means to be associated with every single community in the city, and you bring this vitality and you bring this richness to your work that really nourishes the soil of Houston. You make me proud to be a Houstonian.
Oh man. Well, thank you. And you make me proud to continue to do what I do. So thank you for that. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to
I'm
Access
twerking.
Houston.
I'm twerking because I'm happy I'm twerking. I'm twerking because I'm happy I'm twerking. I'm twerking because I'm happy I'm twerking. I'm twerking because